Our movie today takes place in the 19th century, and we follow a village called Pennsylvania. The village feels kind of peaceful and prosperous, but at the same time no one ever leaves it. That's because there's a huge wall surrounding the village, plus a watchtower where someone is always keeping an eye on everything. The truth is, this village is located deep inside the woods, which is why the villagers never communicate with any nearby towns. The people who live there never leave the village until they die. There's no money used there. Everyone respects one another, and marriage is very simple. Anyone can marry the person they love. They also have a rule that says if someone has feelings for another person, they're not allowed to hold their hand until they're married. Now the elders of the village, known as the elders, hold meetings from time to time. We learn that the son of one of them died because of illness. Since there are no medical facilities in the village, that means they can't treat any kind of disease. The next morning, we see everyone sitting together eating, and suddenly they hear strange sounds coming from the woods. Everyone gets scared, except for a young man with mental instability named Noah, who starts laughing. But no one mocks him or mistreats him, because everyone in the village truly cares about and supports each other. The following morning, they find the body of a dead animal inside the village. The elders gather and discuss who could have killed it. Shortly after, a young man named Lucius approaches them and asks for permission to leave the village so he can bring back medical supplies and establish some kind of clinic. He tells them there must be other towns nearby and reminds them that someone already died from illness. If they had medical tools, they could have saved him. But his request is always rejected. That's because the creatures living in the woods, what they call the monsters, attack the village whenever someone breaks the rules. The elders made a pact with these creatures. No one is ever allowed to leave the village. The elders refuse to break the agreement because if they do, the monsters will return and attack again. We're told that the monsters made this deal only with the elders. The younger generations only hear strange noises from the woods. They also hear stories about elders being injured by these creatures. But Lucius isn't afraid of them, which is why he wants to enter the woods. Unfortunately, they refuse to let him go. In the next scene, we meet a girl named Ivy. She's blind and can't see, but her other senses are extremely sharp. She goes to Lucius with Noah and tells him, "I know why you don't want to hold my hand, because you love me." And she's right. Lucius does love Ivy. At the same time, Lucius notices Noah holding a red berry, the kind that only grows in the woods. We discover that the color red is forbidden in the village. No one wears red, touches a red flower, or even keeps red fruit. To them, red is considered the bad color, and whenever they see it, they bury it immediately. Lucius realizes Noah must have gone into the woods, yet the monsters didn't harm him. So Lucius goes back to the elders again and tells them that Noah had a red berry, which only grows in the woods. That means he entered the forest, and because of his innocence, the monsters didn't hurt him. Lucius argues that he isn't afraid either, and should be allowed to go to other towns to get medicine. But once again, the elders refuse. Still, Lucius can't let go of the idea of leaving the village to bring back medical help. The next morning, Lucius goes near the village boundary and sees a shadow figure. He believes it's one of the monsters and quickly returns. That same night, the watchtower guard sees shadowy figures entering the village. Terrified, he rings the bell to warn everyone. The villagers immediately understand what that bell means. They panic and run into their homes. Each house has a cellar underneath, and whenever danger comes, they hide there. Ivy is still outside, waiting for Lucius. Just before the monster reaches her, Lucius arrives, grabs her, and they both rush into the house and hide in the cellar. They hear the creatures roaming all night. The next morning, they come out and find a red mark painted on every door. This means the pact has been broken. It's a warning. The whole village gathers. The elders are confused and worried. Lucius confesses that he crossed the boundary and saw one of the monsters. He admits he broke the rule. Everyone knows he did it with good intentions, so they forgive him but forbid him from ever leaving again. Later, Ivy's sister gets married, and the whole village celebrates. After the wedding, they return home and find dead animals hanging on their doors. Panic spreads again. Lucius goes to Ivy's house, and they decide to get married soon. The next morning, Noah finds out and becomes extremely upset because he has loved Ivy since childhood. In jealousy, he stabs Lucius in the stomach. Lucius's condition becomes critical, and without medical care, his survival seems impossible. Noah is locked in a quiet punishment room, where he often ends up due to his behavior. Ivy is devastated, and her father Edward, one of the elders, is heartbroken too. Edward admits that when Ivy lost her sight, he couldn't help her. Now he wants to enter the woods to save Lucius. His wife reminds him of the vow they all made, but Ivy makes a bold decision. She will go through the woods herself to bring back medicine. Edward supports her and takes her to a secret room, revealing the truth. There are no monsters. The elders themselves dress up as the creatures to scare everyone into staying inside the village. Now, Ivy knows the truth, which is why she shows no fear as she enters the woods with two young men. They get frightened by the strange sounds. But Ivy is not scared at all. There is not a single trace of fear on her face or in her heart. We discover that when her father, Edward, took her to the hidden room, he told her the secrets of the village. He explained that there are no demons in the forest at all. The truth is that all the creatures in the woods are actually the elders. They go into the forest wearing monster costumes and create fear so that no one ever leaves the village. Now, Ivy knows the truth, and that is why there is no fear in her heart or mind. This is completely different from the young men with her, who are terrified because they hear the sounds of the creatures coming from the forest. They decide to return to the village, but Ivy is not affected. That is because her father, Edward, told her that they placed devices on the trees to produce those sounds in the forest, pretending they are monsters. When the wind hits these devices, it creates the frightening noises they hear. Meanwhile, back in the village, we see two of the elders upset with Edward because he allowed his daughter to go into the forest. They tell him that they worked for many years to build this safe and pure space in the village, and that it was a secret between them. Now that secret could be exposed to the world. Edward reassures them that this will not happen and that he explained everything to his daughter Ivy. We return to Ivy and see her walking through the forest. Suddenly, she falls into a large pit, but somehow she manages to climb out. After that, she begins to hear the sounds of creatures around her. Even though her father told her that there are no monsters in the village, she still grew up hearing many stories about the creatures in the forest, stories saying they have existed for a very long time and learned how to imitate humans. Ivy breaks the stick she is holding into two pieces and listens carefully. She hears the sound of wood snapping in front of her. She throws a stone toward the direction of the sound, and someone throws a stone back at her. At that moment, she realizes that the creature is actually standing in front of her. She begins to run in fear. Then we see the creature chasing her. Ivy's senses are fully alert, which helps her run away. She reaches the same pit she fell into earlier, at the last second, just before the creature grabs her. She ducks down, and the creature falls into the pit instead. In the next scene, the elders in the village go to the secret room where they had locked Noah, but they do not find him there. They also discover another hidden room containing animal skins and other items. This reveals that the animals that were killed in the village were not killed by the elders. Noah was responsible. They become very worried. We understand that Noah's mental health is unstable, yet he is still intelligent. Back in the forest, we see Noah wearing the creature costume. We realize that he was the one chasing Ivy and wandering around the forest. He also had his own costume like the elders used, which means he knew their secret. That is why he could enter the forest anytime without fear. While the elders were manipulating the minds of the villagers, Noah was also manipulating the minds of the elders. However, he loved Ivy. When he learned that Lucius was going to marry her, he lost control and tried to kill him. Since then, Lucius has been in very bad condition. We then see that the creature who fell into the pit was Noah, and he dies from the fall. After that, Ivy continues her journey. Her father Edward had told her about a secret path to follow. As she walks along this path, she reaches a large fence. She has arrived at the main road. A vehicle approaches, and a police officer steps out. At this moment, we discover that they are not living in the 19th century, but actually in the 21st century, the same time we live in. The officer is shocked to see Ivy because the area behind the fence is officially designated as a wildlife preserve. No one is allowed to enter, and even airplanes do not fly over it because it is not part of any flight path. That is why the villagers never realized they were living as if in an earlier time period. However, the elders knew the truth because they were the ones who built this village. Ivy tells the officer that she needs medical help. She gives him the letter her father had given her, along with the gold she brought, since they do not use money in the village. Although the officer initially wants to inform his superior, when he sees Ivy's innocence and the pain she is feeling, he agrees to help her. He brings her medicine and leaves. After that, Ivy returns to the village and gives the medicine to her father. We discover that Edward is still alive, and they treat him. Ivy tells the villagers that she killed the creature in the forest. This keeps the fear of the monsters alive in their hearts, meaning the secret will remain protected. The people of the village will continue living the same way. We also learn that the children who came to the village were very young at the time, but they grew up there and became adults. That is why they do not remember anything about the outside world. And here is where our story ends for today. Stay tuned for more videos and new summaries. Goodbye.